Hey everybody, welcome back to Gideon Stuff. Today we're taking a look at the Real Steel Solis Lite. I'm really excited about this. This is a really cool knife. So let's not waste any more time and let's get right into it. Blade length measurement. Our sharpened edge is coming in here about 2 3/4 inches. If we measure all the way to the back, we're coming in just a hair under 3 inches. That's awesome for people who are bound by that 3-inch legal limit. Not all 3-inch knives are actually under 3 inches. This one is, and it's a slip joint. So this should be legal for a great many people. All right, let's go ahead and do our size comparisons. Here's the Rat 1 and the Rat 2. I gotta say, when I have the red background out here and I put especially these two knives on it, it makes me very nostalgic for the old days of the channel. It brings back a lot of memories. Man, those older videos seem like forever ago. All right, let's bring out our USA made comparisons. Here's the Bug Out. And here's the PM2. Pivot to pivot. Yeah, not a large knife at all. Let's bring out our Civivis next, starting with the Elementum 2. And followed by the Praxis. And then let's wrap this up with just a couple more comparisons. Here's the CJRB Feldspar. You know, get some all blacked out action going on here. And here's the Civivi Vision FG. I've been carrying these two together a lot. They make a great EDC pair. Really enjoy them. Okay, what are we looking at for our materials? Well, we have a very nice D2 Warncliffe blade, G10 scales, and that's pretty much it. We got a steel pocket clip and a steel back spring. That's it. Very simple. Before we get too far along, I do want to draw some attention to the designer. Focus up, camera. Thank you. There's his maker's mark. The designer is this man here. I'm putting his name on the screen. I am not going to try and pronounce his last name. I am also someone that has a last name that's very difficult for a lot of people to pronounce. I've got a very weird last name, and I know how frustrating it is when someone is trying to address you or give you credit for something and they mispronounce your name. So I'm not even going to bother with risking offense. I looked up this name online to see if I could find some good pronunciations, and I didn't find anything that was really consistent, so I'm not going to bother with it. Here's the designer, Jacob. Congratulations, this is a fantastic design. I looked at some of his other stuff. Really cool guy. Highly recommend you check him out. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and get into the meat and potatoes of this review. Let's talk about it. Oh, right here we got a poor little road-killed javelina. And this kind of reminds me of a story I'll tell here in a second. Look at them chompers. These little piggies are pretty cute, but they'll send you to your maker if they feel like it. Alright, javelina story. So as I've mentioned a couple times on this channel, my father's a veterinarian, and one of the jobs he's had in the past was as a facilities inspector. And so basically what this was he would go around to all of the vet clinics in the state, and he'd make sure they're keeping up with their records, make sure they don't have expired drugs, make sure that they're, clean, and, basically doing what they have to do to maintain a good clinic. And not just clinics too, like other practice. If it was a private practice, he would investigate, if they're a mobile vet or something like that, he would, do their clearance. And so as a result, he traveled around a lot. And on a couple of occasions, he would take me and my siblings on these different trips around the state. So one time, I was in high school, and my dad and I are going around looking at some different facilities, and we happen to be in this one little town that's not too far from home, but we go into the clinic, and the vet comes. He's like, "Oh, hey, how's it going? I'll show you guys around. I wasn't expecting you. We were like 15 minutes early." So we're like, "Yeah, we're a little bit early." And so we're going, and we kind of hear this weird little click, 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 click down this one hall. Didn't really think anything of it. So a little bit later, we kind of hear that again, and the vet kind of shoots my dad this look. My dad's like, "What is that?" And they get to talking, and my dad's an amazing man. He's just wonderfully kind and generous, and everyone kind of instantly likes him. And so this vet, he kind of smiles. He says, "Here, I'll show you." And so he takes us to the back where they have the pins, where they keep animals that are in there. And running around here in the back is this javelina. And she runs right up to us, and the vet gives her a little treat out of his pocket. He says, "Go ahead, scratch her behind her ear. She loves it." So I'm down, I'm scratching this little javelina, and she's just loving it. And she was so sweet and so kind and happy. And the vet told us that a couple years back, he was driving along the road, and he saw this javelina roadkilled on the side of the road. He didn't think much of it, but as he looked closer, he noticed that there was a little one with it. So he pulled over, and sure enough, the big javelina was the mother of this baby, and she'd been killed, and this, little javelina was now an orphan. So he picked it up, and he brought it home with him, and he raised it. And its name was Daisy. And he kept Daisy around. He said that she would run around and be kind of like a companion animal for some of the sick animals that were there in the clinic. And she was just so sweet and kind, and it was just, it's such a cool pet to have, right? And she loved when you scratch her behind your ears, but she's a javelina, so she has, these wiry hairs and this very thick, tough skin. And so you'd scratch her and she'd love it and stuff, and you scratch her under her neck, but you'd tear up your hands. Like, literally, it was like rubbing your hands on sandpaper and wire. But, yeah, never forget that. It was quite the experience, and just really, really cool. Hey guys, who's ready to do some cutting? I hope you are, because I sure am. Today, cutting is brought to you from Kilburn Hole. This is one of the coolest places on earth. It's here in southern New Mexico. I put a lot of time and thought into when and where I'm going to do the review cutting for these videos, because I think this is kind of the trademark of my channel, right? Review cutting outside with something to look at in the background. And as I was thinking about different places to do review cutting, I decided, hey, let's do Kilburn Hole. And then I got to thinking a little bit more, and I realized, I'm just a spit away from Texas. I could spit and hit Texas. Heck, I could spit and hit Mexico from here, right? And it got me thinking, I have never done any review cutting anywhere except New Mexico, right? I've done a lot of places in New Mexico, but I've only ever done review cutting in New Mexico. I've done it really close to the border with Colorado, really close to the border with Texas, really close to the border with Mexico. Sometimes my New Mexican comes through. But I've never actually done review cutting anywhere except New Mexico. I've got video footage of other places scattered throughout my channel. I go throughout the four corner states, New Mexico, Colorado, Utah, Arizona, quite a bit. I'm in Texas a lot. And I'm fairly well traveled in the United States. I've been to the East Coast and the West Coast. Been to Hawaii. That's as far away from Laurentia as I've ever been. Geology term, Laurentia is the North American craton, although technically I'm not even on Laurentia right now, because where I'm standing right now is accreted terrains. But yeah, I've never done review cutting anywhere else, and maybe I should change that, right? Maybe I should change that and do some review cutting in Texas, or because honestly, the states I'm in the most are New Mexico and Colorado and Texas. I'm in those three states all the time. And yeah, I've never done any review cutting. Been close. You can see Colorado in a lot of my review cutting videos. You can see Texas in some of my review cutting videos. But I've never done it actually on those sides of the border. So maybe one day we'll have to fix that. But not today. Today we're taking a look at the Real Steel Solis, or the Solis Lite. This is a slip joint, and I absolutely love it. Love it. It is fantastic. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about this knife. Let's start off with that action. So it has Real Steel's 3/4 stop, which I really like. You know, instead of a half stop, stopping the blade like right here, where it's very much in the danger zone for your fingers, it stops it back here. So that's just an added little bit of safety, and I appreciate it. Walk and talk is very good. I wouldn't say it's the best I've ever felt, but it's not too strong and it's not too soft. You got good snaps on the close. You got good pops on the open. Yeah, it's very satisfying. Again, I wouldn't say it's necessarily the best, but I really like it. I think it fits this knife very well. It has enough of a pull to be satisfying, but not too much to make opening it annoying. So I like that. As for opening, they give you one long full, well, I guess two, but a long fuller on either side of the blade. Very easy to grab, very easy to open. Absolutely love that. Very well done. If they had done a nail nick or something, it wouldn't have worked out real well, but that sharp fuller definitely is where it's at. Let's talk about the ergonomics. So, pretty comfortable, right? It's pretty comfortable. The handle looks a little bit weird. You know, you've got like this high point and then it slopes downward. But in the hand, it works out really nicely. The knife is super thin. You know, grabbing it in all kinds of different grips is really, really nice. You do technically have a little bit of a shelf here on the blade where you can put your finger on for that added little bit of safety. I love that in my slip joints, and I'm glad to see it here. It's not a whole lot, but it is there. All right, let's talk about the carry. This knife is very light. It's a blade, G10 scales, and a back spring. That's it. So very light. It's a small knife. It's a thin knife, and it has an amazing pocket clip. This is a wonderful, wonderful pocket clip. The only problem with it is that it's not reversible, and that does suck. But let's tilt down here. Yeah, it goes all the way in. It's no trouble coming out whatsoever. Very, very nice. This knife is small enough that I was carrying it as a 5th pocket knife a lot. It fits in that 5th pocket. This is where this knife basically lives for me. I carry it there while I'm, you know, using other things. Absolutely love it. Ooh, the sun came up from behind a cloud. Wow. Things just got a whole lot brighter. Okay, let's go ahead and cut some stuff. So, we have a D2 Wharncliffe blade. Let's go ahead and give it the run. Nice thin blade stock slicing is not a problem whatsoever. Utility cuts. Okay, that was a little bit ridiculous, but yeah, utility cuts are absolutely fine. This thing is a joy for work like that. Really, really love it. All right, let's get our rope out here. Very, very nice. Wharncliffes and sheep's foot blades don't typically do good on this test. We're going to see what happens. 2, 3. Yeah, you don't have enough leverage to get down on that blade on a cutting board. So, you know, Wharncliffes and sheep's foot, anything with a straight edge basically, you know, scratches that test, but that's okay. All right, let's go ahead and do our pool noodle here. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. Holy smokes. All right, so we started off a little bit thick with that first one. Went a little bit thinner, and then for this last one, oh yeah. Yeah, I just breezed through it. Couldn't even tell that the pool noodle was there. Excellent geometry on this little blade. Very, very nice. That's what I like to see. Give you guys some close-ups of this beautiful, beautiful knife. I love this black with the bronze accents. Really, really does it for me. All right, let's go ahead and get back to the table. Alrighty, what am I liking and not liking about the Real Steel Solis Lite? Number one, I think this is a really attractive knife. This thing looks very, very cool. I like the straight kind of angular lines, and nothing is broken up by a flipper tab or a blade hole or a thumb stud. Everything is very just smooth. It's very elegant, but also kind of aggro and aggressive at the same time. It looks absolutely fantastic. The black with the bronze accents looks amazing to me. This is just a match made in heaven. I love the way that looks. Yeah, just a really cool looking knife. It's kind of a tactically slip joint, which might be a little bit of a paradox, but I think it works here. That's not the word I was looking for. What's the word I'm looking for? Brain fart. It's not coming to me. Anyways, moving on. Let's talk about the action. Very good snaps and pops on the open and close. Not the strongest or snappiest I've ever felt, but still very, very good. I also like that Real Steel does this 3/4 stop. To me, this is much safer than a true half stop. I think this makes a lot more sense. And it shows a little bit of care being put into the design of these knives, a little bit of thought towards safety. So I like that a whole lot. But yeah, great action. Next thing, carrying this knife is a breeze. This thing is so nice to carry. Whoops, sorry about that. Perfect pocket clip. I mean, let's look at this. Flat screws, and they're attached from the inside, which is interesting. But the clip itself works really, really nicely in and out of the pocket. We've got a good little bit of ramp here without it being uncomfortable in the hand. Great pocket clip. The knife is thin. It's lightweight. I have carried this knife, I think almost every day since the day I got it, which was like a month and a half ago. This thing is fantastically easy to carry. I carry this as a backup knife, like a secondary carry, so no matter what else I'm carrying that day, I've got this with me, tucked into my fifth pocket, tucked into my back pocket, tucked into my shirt pocket or something. Really, really cool. It's nice to have a backup knife that is so easy to carry, so I love that. And if this is going to be your primary EDC, it's going to be very easy to carry as well. One thing about the action I forgot to mention is I like that they gave you this long fuller here, instead of like a nail nick or something. It's very easy to grab. And you can grab down here, you can grab it up here, you can grab it right in the middle. Wherever you need to grab it, you can get to it. It's really, really cool. The ergonomics. This thing is very comfortable. You've got like this little swoop down here. It really, really just melts to my hand. Yeah, the knife is thin, but I'm not going to be putting this through anything super hard use. I'm not going to be really bearing down on this. You do have a little bit of a flat area here that you can get a finger on if you needed to keep the blade from closing on you. But yeah, just really, really good ergos. Especially for a blade of this shape, you're going to be doing a lot of utility cuts. You can grab it in some grips like this, get to work, and it works out really, really nicely. As you can see, yeah, I do use this knife quite a bit for utility cuts. We've got all kinds of gunk on the blade. But yeah, just really, really great. Very, very cool knife. And the last thing we're going to talk about for the positives is the price. I think the regular price on these is like $35, something like that. But I see them on sale quite often on Blade HQ for less than $30. Whenever Blade HQ is doing one of their sales, go ahead and look for this knife. They did their Labor Day sale a little while back at the time of me recording this. This knife was on sale then. They did, I think I got this knife on the 4th of July sale. They had it for like $25. That is fantastic, right? That's amazing. you're getting a lot of knife for that. Also, I said that was going to be the last thing in the positives. I lied. I completely forgot to talk about this blade. Very, very good blade here. This is a blade that's made to perform. You've got a decent sharpening choil, straight edge. You know, it's a worn cliff. It does actually kind of cant upwards a little bit. You can see there it kind of goes up, not completely straight edge, but it's a super useful knife for detail work. You can get to that tip very, very easily. And, you know, 2 3/4 inches of sharpened edge is going to be enough knife to do most basic EDC tasks. So, love that a lot. All right, let's go ahead and get into some of my negatives. My first negative is that they didn't make this clip reversible. It's a huge missed opportunity. This is a completely ambidextrous knife if it wasn't for that pocket clip. Come on, Real Steel. That's a little bit disappointing. Next thing, this lanyard hole, I could do without it. It's kind of big and weird and, you know, just kind of takes away from the overall gorgeous design of this knife. So not a huge fan of that. Also, I'm not sure exactly how durable the coating on the blade is. I do have a couple of spots where... Focus camera. I do have a couple of spots where the coating is starting to rub off. I don't really care about that, but, you know, you might, so definitely keep that in mind. Other than that, one thing that I could maybe complain about is that some of these edges are maybe a little bit sharp, but it doesn't really bother me in hand. It might bother you, but I don't think it's really all that big of a deal. And those are pretty much my only those are my only complaints. Let's go ahead and get on to the final conclusions. Final conclusions, I love this knife. This is easily one of my most carried knives of the latter part of 2023. This thing goes everywhere with me. It is so useful, so easy to carry, and it looks just, oh, it looks so good. I can EDC this. I can wear this in my pocket to a wedding, to church, to something. It's just a good looking knife. Very functional. I love that pocket clip. I love the walk and talk. There's something very satisfying about carrying a slip joint. I don't know what it is. I don't know how to put it into words, but there's, you know, you take this out of your pocket and you open it up like that, and I don't know, it feels good. It feels really, really good. And yeah, I absolutely love this knife. It's called the Solis Lite. I'm not sure if there's a Solis non-Lite. Actually, you know what? I could probably look that up on Blade HQ real quick. The name Solis, I know that's a Spanish-derived word for sun. I'm not sure if that's what the designer was going for when he named this one, but you know, perhaps. Pulling up Google here on my laptop off to the side. It's Blade HQ. Let's go to Blade HQ. As soon as I type B into my browser, it brings up Blade HQ because, yeah, I'm on there a lot. Real Steel Solis. All right, let's see what they got here. Okay, so... yeah, so they have the Real Steel Solis and then the Solis Lite full black. So the Real Steel Solis, what is the difference with this thing? It's got it looks exactly the same, except it's got a stonewash finish blade. Oh, and it has a bronze back spring. Ooh, I like that. I wish they'd done that on this one. That would have been very, very cool. But does it have liners? Not that. Okay, so this one's also called the Solis Lite. Okay, so the Solis, yeah, that's one of Jacob's traditionals, or one of his customs, I believe. Yeah. Let's see here. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, the Lite is just the Real Steel version. Very, very cool. But yeah, it is a very lightweight knife, so it's gonna be very interesting for a lot of people. Alrighty, so let's see here. Yeah, I think that's about all I have to say about this thing, guys. Do I recommend it? Absolutely, especially if you're into slip joints. This is a great modern slip joint. It's a great EDC Wharncliffe. It's just a fantastic knife. It's pretty simple, no frills, but it does that very, very well. And those are my favorite kind of knives. Knives that are simple, but they execute it pretty much perfectly. And this knife is, for all intents and purposes, a pretty much perfect execution of this design for the price. I do wish the clip was reversible, but, you know, beggars can't be choosers, I guess. Anyways, that is going to be it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like, comment below, and subscribe, and share it if you feel like it. I hope you have a wonderful day. I've been Gideon. I'll see you in the next one. Adios.